Burpee Museum of Natural History, and I'm with two special guests. And you may not recognize one because usually when we see her, she has some sort of reptile around her neck, maybe a gecko in her hand. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Ann Werda. I'm the Executive Director of Burpee Museum.
I am Josh Matthews. I am the Engelhart Moore Director of Paleontology here at the Burpee Museum.
Okay, so we're here for a very specific reason because we're going to talk fossils. National Fossil Day.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's a big thing, and we're at Burpee because you are the place for fossils
Absolutely.
in the area. So
Yes.
speaking of fossils, we've got a couple sitting here. You want to explain them because they're super, I'm not going to say a couple, a little more than a couple, but you got a couple specimens that are pretty amazing.
They are. So what we have together here, we have, of course, if you don't know what this is by now, you need to come to the Burpee Museum because this is our flagship dinosaur. This is Jane. This is a cast of her skull. Real skeletons on exhibit upstairs. This here we have is saber-toothed tiger, also known as Smilodon. It's a cast. These are mostly found out in California, La Brea tar pits, where they have a lot of these skulls. We use these for multiple things here at the museum. But what we have up front here, these are the same element in two different animals. So this here is what we call the Premaxilla. It's the very front of Jane's snout. This is a real bone here. It's the left one, so it's this is basically the nasal opening. That's the nose.
So can you show us where it would be on
Yep.
Jane
So
here?
this is this bone right here. So this is the right side.
Okay.
So this would fit over here on this side. So this is...
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty good size here. Now Jane is a juvenile Tyrannosaurus Rex. She's not an adult. But just to give you kind of an idea of scale, we have a quarry out in Hanksville, Utah. It's late Jurassic. About 150 million years old. And this is a Premaxilla we found to another dinosaur called Allosaurus. So these are the same bones in two different species. So this just gives you an idea of the scale of this
Allosaurus
animal.
is big.
This would have been
Actually,
a big guy.
Allosaurus is a lot smaller than an adult T-Rex.
Okay.
But so that tells you how small Jane is compared to an adult. So an adult T-Rex would be much larger than an Allosaurus, but this is a large Allosaurus specimen. So I compared this to other specimens in other museums, and this one is even as bigger or as big as some of the biggest that have been found in other quarries around the country.
And this one was found by a teenager.
Yes, this was found by a 17-year-old high school girl from Michigan, Maddie Terralla. She came out with us this summer with her mom and dad. They spent a week with us digging, and of course, the very last day, it's usually what happens. She's out there digging, and she finds something good. So I had my assistant, Dan, came over to where I was working, said, I think we got a tooth coming out of a jaw. So I went over, and sure enough, she had a little bit of the jaw exposed, and there was a tooth poking out.
You're like, that is a tooth.
That is definitely a tooth. That is definitely a tooth, and it looks like it's in a jaw. So which is really cool because that's kind of rare. You don't find that very often. You find bones scattered, but when you find skull material, especially with teeth, that's really cool.
I have to say I've enjoyed watching Dan work while he's been here.
You have some events and some things coming up. Let's chat.
Yeah, so National Fossil Day is obviously a really great, exciting time for us to celebrate all things fossils. We have an event on Saturday that we did, and then we also are going to have a class on Monday. So school's out. Kids can come to Burpee and they can learn all about fossils. And we have an AM class, a PM class, and they can do all day on that. And then we also have an Art of Hunting event coming up in November where you get to learn about survival skills and you can experience throwing a spear, throwing a tomahawk, all sorts of really cool things about how you would have survived many, many, many years ago before we had grocery stores and heat in our houses.
And the cool thing, too, is you were talking about Monday not having any school. Parents, you've got something for the kids to do on Monday. You know, if they're driving you crazy, school days off, we're going to hit into that season. So thanks for having us. And you always have stuff going on here. And when's Paleo Fest?
So Paleo Fest is in March. It's going to be the March 6th, 7th, and 8th will be the 3 days. And this is where people come in from all over the world to give presentations, but we also have lots of cool activities. We have Paleo Art Workshops, which is a new thing we started last year that was really popular, and we're going to expand on it again next year. And we have family workshops where kids can make things like Pteranodon wings we made one year. It's really fun. It's a good family event, but it's a really cool scientific event as well.
So if you're planning, you've got kids that are really interested in this kind of stuff, make your plans for Paleo Fest. So what's your website?
Burpee.org. So if you just go to burpee.org, you can find out all our information, also on Facebook. And also for families that are interested in dinosaurs, anybody can come dig. So that teenager dug that out because she came out and dug up a dinosaur bone. Anyone can come, anyone from Rockford or wherever, and it's a ball.
And following that was in Utah. Later in the summer, we were out in Montana where we find Jane and Homer upstairs. We had a 14-year-old kid from Michigan as well come out. And he found a beautiful claw to one of our meat-eating dinosaurs named Pearl, so a rare dinosaur. So,
and that's what we just really want to encourage. Like everybody can be a paleontologist. You come out, we'll show you how to use the tools. We have lots of different age categories in which you can come in and learn
And I like how you
it.
let her continue working on it.
Exactly.
Like, this is yours, and you can keep going.
Right.
So what's the website again? I just want to make sure everybody has it so you can get all the events and info. Burpee.org.
BURPEE.org.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Up next, Skipper's Skincare explains why they're the place to go for safe organic products, and the scent of Sugar Britches caramel apples is in the air. Nothing says fall quite like caramel apples in, well, fall weather. Let's get a quick check of those temps. We'll be right back with more Good Day Stateline.